Oop. Hold on, let me make sure I have the volume all the way up. I'm so professional. Hey, it's me. Welcome back to Chronic Compassionista. This is episode number 2. And I love the song I picked as my episode title song. The album is wonderful. I may listen to it again. I keep saying that, and then I don't because I'm so exhausted because I've been sick. And I kind of had a little relapse last night. Well, yesterday, I told you I took Smooth Move tea a few nights ago, and it worked. And then I didn't have any bowel movements. We're starting right off into the juicy stuff. So I decided to take have another cup of it the night before last. And yesterday was my free day, which meant my free days aren't really my free days because I have doctor's appointments. And this one was my intake appointment to see my new psychiatrist. So that lasted about 2 hours. And I didn't realize it was going to last 2 hours until the day before. But that's just how, anyway. Don't you love these socks, my friend? I don't know if I can say this is fuck off I'm reading. And I love those socks. Thanks, Al. You can also see, it's not so much on this leg, but on this leg, can you see all those little red dots? That's Lily Bell. She needs to get her toenails trimmed, her little claws trimmed, because she does it. She paws me when I'm doing coffee yoga in the morning because she wants attention, and obviously she does. It's been all night. But her claws are so sharp, and they grow just like, my claws grow fast too. I have to, in fact, I should probably, or maybe the more you clip them, the faster they grow. Or maybe it's just because I eat very healthfully. No shade, that's just the way it is, that they grow fast. But I don't like them long. It's funny, most of my coworker friends, female friends, get their nails done. Of course, they're in their early 20s. It's not cheap. And I do have a set of press-on nails that I think Trixie recommended them from like CVS, and I thought I'd try them. And I've only worn them once. Maybe someday I'll wear them again. Maybe I'll wear them on my my trip to Greece. You're gonna have to excuse me because I have not been feeling well, and I had, like I said, it had been a couple days, and I monitor my bowel movements because that's what life is like when you're 56. And, or at least for this 56-year-old who has chronic illnesses and mental health issues. They really fuck with your body, all parts of your body, including your intestines, apparently. And my neck pain is back. I've had horrible neck pain for at least a week again. And I need the sleep, but staying still that long makes my RA pain just really bad in the morning. And I'm starting to get some like OA pain in my top joints. Anyway, let's not get too off subject. But anyway, so I woke up around 2:45 and rushed yesterday morning and proceeded to have explosive diarrhea for 5 times. 5 times. Just can't make this shit up. It's very funny because I only posted once on Instagram today. I really have to stay away from it because uh, I'm just seeing stuff that's really triggering me. The whole horse carriage um, rider's law that nobody will pass, even though these people support it. Like Mondami supported the ban. It's called the rider's law, and but nobody's doing anything about it. And then they had this. I'm not a zoo person either, and they had this beautiful elephant whose two friends were killed in the Bronx Zoo, and there were petitions and calls to the Bronx Zoo to please, please, please take this beautiful being, this elephant, out of this zoo of cement and isolation and place him or her into safe sanctuary, which I guess is the same thing, sanctuary. And they euthanized her instead, or him or her, doesn't matter. And that really, really triggered me. New York City Council, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Bronx Zoo, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm ashamed of you. If your children knew what you did, could you tell your children what you did? Are you proud of what you did? Fucking pisses me off, which is why I can't be on it that long. But I had seen this female comedian, and she lives with mental illness, including, I think her mother, it was a part of her act. And she uses humor, which a lot of people, that's why a lot of like actors, comedians, let's see, Robin Williams and just lots of, he's the only one that comes to mind because I'm so exhausted. So anyway, but are just, a lot of them come from horrible trauma. And even if not trauma, there's just something, it could be genetics, it can be, he also did a lot of drugs, I think, too. I don't know if that triggered something. But, and then just hearing about Martin Short's daughter just killed herself, and his wife died of cancer. And of course, what does he use? Humor. And how he got through that interview without sobbing. I don't know, but he's, anyway. I don't know how I made it to my intake appointments, but I did. I, I was afraid. I was like, well, I don't wear Depends, but, and neither my roommate nor myself nor I get our periods anymore. We're both postmenopausal, so there are no pads around or anything. And I just, the last time I had diarrhea, I think I just told myself, all right, this has to be the last time. There can't be any more in there. And I did. I made it through. I didn't even go to the bathroom when I was there. I just stay hydrated. And I of course I text poor Elle. I text her all this wonderful news. Guess what? I had explosive diarrhea from like 2:45 to until about a half an hour before I left for my doctor's appointment, which I actually left early because I left as soon as I went to the bathroom the last time. So I was like, at least get me there to another bathroom in case it happens again. Anywho, I had my intake appointment and I met my new psychiatrist, and she's a woman and she doesn't want me to be on Klonopin. She said it's not good for short term, and that's, listen, I have been, and then I told her the dose I thought I was on when I was in the hospital in 2009, and she went, no, they wouldn't put you on that high dose. Well, that kind of took me off because I was like, I'm not just making it up. I really feel like, because when I went through the withdrawal, I slowly withdrew from the medication. It took like 5 weeks because we went from like 5 milligrams to 4 milligrams to 3 milligrams to 2 milligrams to 1 milligram. And it was not like a 2 week thing for 2 milligrams. But that was 15 years ago, and I guess a lot's changed. And this is a city too, and they don't want people. And she's like, it's not good for long term. And I'm like, listen, I've got. It didn't make any difference, but I said, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to exist anymore most of the time. I have chronic suicidal ideation. It's been very bad. That was the only medication. And then I think I was taking something else with it, but I can't remember. And of course, moving so much in the past 15 years and losing paperwork and hospitals and doctor's office will only keep your information for up to like 9 years or 7 years or something like that. And this has been like 15 years. So anyway. So what did she do? She upped my Celexa, which my soon-to-be former psychiatrist, because I'm just waiting for a letter that he was kind enough to, or his team is kind enough to write, or being kind enough to write, is kind of like my ace in the hole for going on this cruise trip. Because when I told my manager at work about it, I was told that we needed to discuss it further when they returned from their vacation. And I have yet to be pulled aside to talk about it further. And I have a feeling it's because I told everyone I'm going. And I didn't even realize that that's a pretty sneaky tactic. It was an accidental tactic. I was just so, like, I did this. I actually did it for myself because life is short. I'm suicidal. And I'm doing this. And but he's writing a letter, and I'm going to give her that letter as well. I want her to know that I'm suicidal. They're not supposed to ask any questions about your FMLA. I mean, I have FMLA for my RA, plus I have it for CPTSD, and so they know that much. But I want them to know what horrible straits I'm in. Anyway, so thank you for doing that, almost former psychiatrist. Because now I'll be seeing this new psychiatrist, female psychiatrist, and she's very nice. And, you know, she's like, it's only for short term. Well, my doctors back then, my psychiatrist back then didn't mention anything about the short term. She just saw the improvements in me. And what's that? There's a quote that goes, one crowded hour is worth blah, blah, blah. I can't remember the rest. But that's how I feel. Because, even though I eat very healthfully, and I meditate, and I journal, and I try to do creative things like this, and also hopefully helpful things. Hopefully somebody can gain some help and hope from this. I'm a strange person to get hope from because I guess I must have hope or else I wouldn't be on here doing this. But, and I would be taking care of myself as well as I do, except that I have to work. But guess what I did yesterday, even after that experience? Oh my gosh. And let me tell you, I don't have GI issues. I think it's a mixture of not being on RA meds at the moment and not having been on them for a couple months now. Stress, probably smooth move tea. Anyway, I think it's a mixture of those things. Why I had this. As Greg Davies, who is a fabulous British comedian and actor and former teacher, um, says, my friend Elle just sent, she just sent a clip that I myself have watched like 100+ times because 100 times or more because it's so funny. And he talks about how he. I won't get into the whole spiel. If I think about it, I'll put the link down below because it's hilarious. And it's from the Graham Norton show. And anyone who can make Graham Norton just laugh his ass off he's just hysterical. And Ryan Gosling. It's so funny to see American celebrities on the Graham Norton show or any British show really, because the British sense of humor, and plus what they can say fuck and shit, all this, they can say words that were like the puritanical fundamentalist Christian right, who was it that I was watching some Dave Chappelle. These are my distraction techniques because now I have a safety plan with my psychiatrist because of my active suicide ideation. And I asked my friend L and G if they would be my emergency contacts because I'd already put them down, and they said absolutely. So music and movement, dancing, movement in my apartment. Like I'll just like dance or I'll walk through my apartment I'll set the timer for 30 minutes and do that. And it does not only distract me, but it gets, I guess, my endorphins going, something that eases my pain. And it loosens it loosens my joints because my joints get so stiff. And so I don't want to go outside. I really don't like New York at all. Just saying. But anyway, I submitted my Social Security disability insurance application for the second time. Now, to show you how fucked up our government is, I had told them, I don't know how long ago, I don't want paper like statements in the mail. Just send me emails. So what do they send me every 5 minutes? Paper. And I'm sure, I'm going to try to manifest. I'm going to try to be positive because this time, if I get denied, I am appealing. And through one of my doctor's offices, they have legal assistance for those who have been denied disability, who can help me appeal successfully to get disability. Because just the first time I was talking to my new therapist, she said, you should be on disability. And my new psychiatrist yesterday was like, you'd be much better on disability. And so I'll have them write letters too, or I'll ask them to write letters too, if necessary, because I've had it with this bullshit. I can't work full time. I can't work at all my hand, and I didn't even. I mean, I told them. I believe I told them in the application how fucked my hands were, and my knees, and my neck, and my feet, and then I also put down my CPTSD and my chronic suicidal ideation, and how my job is extremely stressful and it triggers me all the time, and I'm dysregulated because of the erratic healthcare, the shit healthcare we have in this country, and I can't get on one drug or set of drugs that helped me. I wish I could remember. It may have been like Zoloft along with the Klonopin, but I know I was on more than 2 milligrams of Klonopin. So when she was like, no, I was like, You can say no all you want, but I know it was more than 2 milligrams. I'm pretty damn sure. Because I'm on 2 milligrams now and I want to kill myself often. I don't have a plan, though I have been thinking about writing out a will. Not that I have anything to give, but just to say what to do with my body, which is to donate it to science. And of course, I have that I'm a. This is very uplifting, isn't it? I have organ donor listed on my ID. So just do whatever you want with my body. I don't want to take up any space on this already overcrowded planet. I don't want to like just rot in a box. I think that's whatever. To each their own, but that's not what I want. Especially with all the drugs that have been in my system and will be in my system. I don't want them leaching into the soil. Sorry, I have to make this lecture. One thing, remember, I don't know if I mentioned before that I have been losing weight. The least amount of weight I was since like middle school or high school was, I guess, like a year or so, not long after I first became vegan, and that was back like in 2010. And because I think that was around my knee surgery time. And it's so fun. Anyway, I was 108. And no doctor ever mentioned it. I doubt they looked at it. If they looked at it, they just skimmed it. Didn't mention anything. So I mentioned it to him. I said, have you seen my weight? I'm 108. He's like, yeah, that's kind of low. And that was all I got. Male fucking doctors had it. Anyway, for my psych intake yesterday, they did my vitals and they took my weight. Now, the last time I was weighed was probably about 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago. I was 112. Which I was like, okay. My clothes were all fitting loosely because when I moved here, I was like 139. And when they weighed me yesterday, it was 104. Which is, if not anorexic, it's close to anorexic. And I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see it. But, and I told my psychiatrist, I said, I'm afraid of gaining weight. I said, I grew up in a family. Of course, they didn't know that I started developing autoimmune disorders because of all the trauma, childhood trauma. And then I had thyroid issues, which was having me, so I couldn't lose weight, or I was kind of puffy or whatever. And their way of saying I was fat, but saying it in a nice way was, and these are my parents or my mother, who, like I said, is very dysregulated, extremely traumatized, and suicidal now. When you're in that state, you want other people to be as miserable as you. And I understand this, or a lot of people do. And of course, she was extremely insecure, right? So you deflect that onto somebody else. And so she tells her, 13-year-old daughter that, oh, you're just big boned. Do I look big boned to you? Actually, through 23andMe, it said I had an elite athlete's body. My DNA showed that I had an elite athlete's body. I certainly could not be an elite athlete in the state I'm in. But, so yeah, and I told my friend Leslie, I said I had lost, so in between, I lost another 8 pounds. And I'm eating the same amount of foods. And I had told my psychiatrist that I was vegan. And I had a feeling she had in the back of her mind that, oh, she's not getting enough. She's not eating enough. She's not. Well, and I don't think I am eating enough. I'm eating so healthfully, but I have a loss of appetite because of my depression, and when you're suicidal, you don't really feel like eating. And I'm also trying to stay active because you lose bone density, and I want the muscles around my fucked up joints built up to support my fucked up joints. And so that burns energy too. Now it's interesting because my older sister, Jay, soon after she became, I don't know if she was a Jehovah's Witness by then or in the Campus Crusade for Christ. It was around that time. She became very skinny, like as skinny as I am now. And I don't remember saying anything to her about being so skinny. I noticed it. And I don't know if anybody in my family noticed it, but I remember we got one of the last family, like Owen Wells photos ever taken of my mom and my sister and me. And I was, I guess you would call big boned because I wasn't fat. I was just, and I was exercising. I was doing Denise Austin. She's probably a Republican voted for Trump. Maybe not, but I know she's Christian and I have a feeling she might be. But anyway, she did help me because I used to do, I will thank her for this because she was on ESPN and then she was on the Lifetime channel. She had her Denise Austin show. And so to show that I was healthy, even though I was emotionally and physically not healthy, because of course I was smoking back then. And as I got older, I drank, and I was never an alcoholic, but alcoholism does run in my biological grandfather's, my mom's biological father's family. He was a drunk, and most of his siblings were drunks. So that's why I quit. Well, that's part of the reason why I stopped drinking a couple years ago. Actually, my friend Elle motivated me to, because February of like 2 years ago, she said she just stopped drinking. But of course, every once in a while she'll have a drink, and that's the same with me. Like when she would come to town for a weekend visit, and we'd go to these lovely restaurants, and sometimes I'd have a cocktail, and sometimes I wouldn't. It was like a New York cocktail for like $20. It's insane. But I had the best cocktail of my life the last time I was here. And I hope to have money to have at least one cocktail at the Greek resort while I'm staying. I'm so excited. I bought a bikini. Yay! But like I said, I think it's too big. So I think I may order another one I like that's small. That's size small. I guess I was just so excited when I saw the design of it. It's navy blue. I told you, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing blues, blacks, tan. So the shorts I got linen shorts. I've got this bikini. I got white sneakers, slip-on sneakers that I have wanted for so long, or needed for so long, because they go with everything. I can wear them with dresses. I got a linen dress in blue, like a pretty blue, that I can wear to work, along with my white sneakers, my slip-on sneakers, because I just got to that point where I just can't. I need as much ease as possible in dressing myself. And I got a sun hat. I'm just and. But anyway, I think I did a bundle. This is through ThreadUp. So it was originally like, I got 50% off everything. So it was under $100 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Shoes, shorts, bikini, dress, and sun hat. And I think that's pretty good. But I think I might also, I have linen shirts, and yes, they're a little big, but that's fine. I don't like to wear tight stuff anyway. Like this is a medium, I think. And this looks fine on me. I don't like really tight stuff anyway. So, but I think I may look for a prairie skirt and get a small, the small, it's a blue paisley print bikini, and it's actually a size small. This one's a medium, and I'm just not sure because I've lost so much weight with the medium. It's like I have my underwear are mediums, and they just every time like I pull my pants down to go to the bathroom, they come down off. They're just like hanging off me, and plus they're hangs and they have holes in them and stuff. Not that I really care because I'm not sexually active, but it would be nice to wear like nice, decent underwear. Maybe someday I'll have the money to buy some decent underwear again in smalls so they don't fall off me. Because I told her I was afraid of gaining too much weight back. Because where I gain my weight is in my stomach area, and that's like the worst area for you to gain weight when it comes to like heart disease, these preventable diseases. But I'm at a higher risk, even though I take very good care of myself, which is so funny that I want to die. And yet I take, but I think I'm taking very good care of myself. First of all, because it's cheaper to eat the foods that I'm eating. I had a friend tell me because I saw this NPR shit. Was it? It was. I think it was. About how people are eating more meat because the economy is so bad and people can't afford meat anymore. And she said that to me. Now I know she. Sorry, I know she has problems digesting beans, so I wasn't saying, you need to eat beans, even though you can't do that. But I just happened to mention to her at work that, oh no, it wasn't her, it was a patron. It was someone she was talking to. And I mentioned that more people were eating beans because they're a very good source of protein and they're a lot cheaper than meat. And she's like, it's only because people can't afford meat. And I didn't get into it, but the fact that people think they can afford meat, they don't realize that the meat industry, the meat, dairy, and egg industry, you can Google it. It's right there. They get huge subsidies. So your taxes are subsidizing. So this cheap meat that you used to get, or cheaper meat that you used to get, you're still paying with your tax money, like the full price. It's not cheaper, because if you look at the subsidies that the fruit and vegetable associations get, industry gets, as opposed to the subsidies that the meat, dairy, and egg industry gets, it's like night and day. Billions of dollars in subsidies. And so it's because they lie about everything. They have to, and they know they're kind of losing. People are eating this. I don't care why you eat, but anyway, I wasn't even getting on that subject. But she's like, it's because meat's cheap, and I said, meat has never been cheap. You think it's cheap when you're buying it at the store, but your taxes are subsidizing the meat and dairy and egg industry. So it's not as cheap as you think it is, because you're paying twice for it. You're paying it for it at the grocery store, and you're paying for it again through your taxes. Just putting it out there. Anyway, what else was I going to say? I feel like my cold, and it's probably because yesterday I had kind of like a smoky chest again, just a little bit. And I have some nasal congestion, and I still have a little bit of like a mucousy cough. Oh, and thank goodness for body wipes, because I was not in any frame of mind to take a shower, even though I had explosive diarrhea 5 times. I cleaned myself up as best I could because I was exhausted. Thank goodness for public transport. That's the only thing that you do living here in the city at this point. I'm going to do a series on New York City etiquette because there really isn't any. Or it's a lot less than I would care to see. And I know it's because there's 8 million people in this, and I'm not used to living in cities with 8 million people. And so a lot more people don't know basic etiquette. It's really sad. Anyway, I called out today because yesterday was such a shitstorm, literally and figuratively. Anyway, she put me on. I'm taking 30. My former, soon-to-be former psychiatrist put me on, upped my Celexa, which has not done anything so far. He bumped me up to 30. And so what did she do? She bumped me up to 40. And so I'm going to have to go through this again. And of course, it takes 1 to 2 months to see if it works. Well, 20 didn't work, 30 didn't work, 40 is the highest. That and the highest 2 milligrams of Klonopin. People are addicted to cheese and die because of their addiction to cheese, and they're worried about me and Klonopin, taking too much Klonopin. Oh, because they say it can cause dementia and Alzheimer's. Well, guess what? I eat the most anti-inflammatory diet on the planet. Yes, both my grandmothers had dementia and either had dementia or Alzheimer's. They also ate standard American diet. And I know, and that plays a huge role in it as well. Anyway, I don't want to get too. Anyway, so I called out because I woke up at 3:30 this morning. My RA pain and OA pain. Oh, I was feeling it in my upper this morning. And, I've had the apartment to myself. My roommate comes by every few days just to do whatever. And, I just want to stay home with Lily Bell. I have been suicidal, and I want to stay home with Lily Bell, keep her company, and have her as company. I'll go to work tomorrow, and I guess I'm going to have to go to work to save up my AL for my trip, even though I said I would go, even if I didn't have any AL. But I really want to try. And just knowing, I'm sorry, I'm clicking off my screen because I just spit on it. Even though, see, it's not much I'm really missing, the gummies. But I have been strong, and I'm not going to do it because it will save me. Because I would get 2 tins of gummies every 2 weeks, and that was like $67. And so that's like $140 a month. And so I've saved $67 this month because I didn't get it. I haven't had any for the past 2 weeks. I haven't bought any in the past 2 weeks. And the next 3 months, that's 140 times 3 is $400 some dollars. So I will be saving that. And I will be finding other ways to hopefully not off myself. Just so you know. Oh yeah, I think I said everything I was pretty much going to say. Oh, my neck. They did. You tell your doctor you have debilitating neck pain, and they do X-rays. And they're like, well, it's just mild, this, and this. And I'm like, well, it may be mild. Say mild, look mild to you, but it wakes me up at night, the pain, and I can't. Like doing this hurts tremendously. Movement helps, but I'm just so angry at my neck pain. And their thing was, well, go to PT. Yeah, all right. In between my weekly therapy sessions, um, my monthly psychiatry sessions, my at least bi-monthly rheumatoid or my RA doctor, and I'm also supposed to see all these specialists. Not like my insurance would cover PT anyway. One thing is, my psychiatrist said, I said, when we were talking about, okay, you know, I'm not going to take you off the Klonopin right now. We're going to try the 40 Celexa that didn't work at 30 and didn't work at 20. Anyway, I said, I hope you're not going to suggest electroconvulsive therapy. And she said, well, sometimes it works. And just, David Foster Wallace had electroconvulsive therapy, plus tons of different medications. I just feel like I wasn't meant to be here. My body is saying you are not to be here. The pain is saying you are not to be here. And yet, as I mentioned a little earlier, on Instagram, I found this comedian, and she has mental health issues herself, plus her mother committed suicide. And I know that doesn't sound funny, but as I said, a lot of the funniest people, that's why a lot of people with trauma get into acting, comedy, theater. It's so they can pretend to be somebody else. And that's why I was so chuffed. It's an English term, a British term, they say. Slang. I guess slang, right? Chuffed. I am 74% English, so I feel like I can say that. When the nurse who did my therapy intake said that I was very funny, it goes along with the post that I in my stories on IG today. I just did one, and it's basically this girl comes back from the hospital, goes back to school from the hospital, psych ward, and she said, "Do you know how many antidepressants it takes to kill yourself?" And they said, "No, how many?" And she goes, "I don't know, but it wasn't 26." And you have to, and so I thought, I want to do something like that, because this woman who was, this other female comedian who was discussing her mental health and then the trauma that she's been through. Humor helps, it's helped me a lot. And so to have like this nurse say, as I'm telling her about all the trauma in my life and my rapist, child abusing father and everything, I don't know what I said. I can't even remember what I said. But she went, "You are so funny." And I take that as a high compliment. It's sad, but it's also funny. Anyway. Oh, so I was going to, I thought if I ever did try writing like comedy sketches or like stand-up, I was like, to call it like the She Died Laughing Tour. And I was looking up like what a timed set would be, and it's a long time. Hold on, I spit again. It's my dentures too, plus saliva, because I'm talking so much. And they say like 15-minute sketch, 15-minute, like a warm up, and then like 15 minutes, and that's a long time to be on a stage comedy. So. And I noticed that when I was watching these female comedians who were discussing their chronic illnesses and CPTSD and chronic suicidal ideation, that Instagram would not use the word kill in the text. They used the word unalive. So I wrote, this was me just like spitballing it. Quote, unalived used on IG instead of kill. Regarding suicide. I mean, that's so unfair. It minimalizes the act, right? I mean, did you hear? Lisa unalived herself. Just doesn't have the same gravitas. It's like saying Israel and U.S. unalived, school full of children. That piss off people who care about such things. Am I right? Uh, or the trend of humans unaliving animals. Like, I guess there's this trend of torturing animals like cats and dogs. Of course, we torture billions and trillions of land and aquatic animals to eat them. But I'm just talking about this TikTok or trend. It's horrible. People videotape torturing and killing cats and dogs. And I wrote, it's torture, Jennifer. And then that made me think of Jennifer Ingebrand, and I doubt she'll ever see this. But in fourth grade, she was in my fourth grade class. She got everyone, and I could add this to my act too. She got everyone in my fourth grade class, including my childhood best friend, to shun me for the entire year. Why? This was a time when we were living full time with my dad after the divorce. All that. I've talked about that on other things. And so we spent every Wednesday night with my mom and every other weekend. So on Thursday morning, she would drop me off at school, Jill and me, off at school with our clothes from the night before. And I guess Jennifer saw my underwear, and apparently that was enough. It wasn't a rumor, it was true. That was enough to get she got the entire class, my entire class, to shun me that year. And I have to say, I looked her up, I Googled her. Let me tell you, it's not hard to find these people. And she's a Republican from Texas, in Texas. So, anywho, that seemed to kind of go with the whole fourth grade bullying. It was more than just bullying. To be shunned is a form of emotional abuse. It was terrible. And yet I can laugh about it now, or I'm going to add it to my act whenever I should decide to do such. Because life is short. Who knows when I'll off myself, if I'll ever off myself. I've got chronic suicidal ideation. I don't think that ever goes away. You have to manage it, just like trauma. I was fucking bummed to find out that the trauma never goes away. You just learn to move with it somehow, manage it somehow. We'll see. I need to get my hair cut, but I'm holding off until closer to my trip. But and as I was writing, Jennifer Ingebrand, I put in quotes, second diarrhea, because I had to run to do. See, I think that would be funny. So I'm going to keep doing that. That's the creative. See, and that, if I didn't have to work a job where I'm exhausted and I don't get the care and support from my managers and my supervisors, and they don't take my illnesses seriously, and I don't get paid. None of us get paid a living wage, except the ones at the top, of course. But and I get shitty health insurance. I mean, it's health insurance, but we should all be on Medicaid. So I wonder if you get on Medicaid if you have disability. I'm assuming you do, but I don't know. If you know in the comments, write down below. Subscribe if you like any of this. I'm actually going to stop this before an hour's up, but I thought that was pretty funny. She died laughing to her. I think I'm going to put, well, if I was going to have a gravestone, that's what I'd put on my gravestone. Because I laugh to relieve the black pit of despair that I carry around with me all the time. See? I'm so sorry, folks. It's still there a little bit, and I'm not gonna. Well, I'll wait. And I'm not used to having to blow my nose because after I became vegan, I didn't get allergies anymore, so I didn't have to blow my nose. But now I got this cold, I blow my nose so much. Even with the soft toilet paper, and like the inside of my nose is raw. It's annoying me, like anything. Oh, well, I'll talk about this the next time. Just think Botox. That's something I wanted to talk about the next time. But anyway, I recommend Closing Time by Tom Waits. It's a wonderful album. I may try it. I have to finish reading that fucking book. And I know it's about compassion and joy and equanimity. And I did read some last night, and then I fell asleep. So I thought I was going to go to work today, and that didn't happen because I woke up at 3:30 and I was in so much pain. But I am going to dance to some music. Well, my form of dancing, which is just kind of walking around my apartment with my earbuds in, listening to my soundtrack, which has 2,000 views. That's pretty amazing. That's more than all of my videos put together. So that's something. People at least are interested enough to hear my music or see what kind of music I like. I've got like 3 days worth of music on there. So anyway, check it out, Soundtrack of My Life. It's under, I changed it, of course, all my things to Chronic Compassionista. And if you're in New York City, call the city council, give them hell, and give the Bronx Zoo hell for euthanizing this beautiful being, elephant, who could have just as easily been taken to a lovely sanctuary to live out his or her days, and instead they killed him. Anyway, on that wonderful note, listen to some good music, dance, read some good books. I have been getting into Rutger Bregman a lot. He was the one at Davos who was like, taxes, taxes, taxes. He, like, to the billionaires who all took their private jets to Davos to talk about, like, climate change and shit like that. There are no good billionaires, okay? That includes Beyonce. That includes Taylor Swift. That includes Oprah. That includes whatever. You know, Bono, who they I probably said this in the last one too, Bono, who trots out at all these humanitarian galas. It's just an excuse for them to get their pictures taken, celebrities, and pretend they're doing some good, but it's not. And wear couture, which is usually still made by slave workers in Bangladesh, you know, and also made with a lot of animal fabrics and products, including their makeup, and they're all Botoxed out. And Botox itself is not, I'm sorry, I'm going to get on the Botox thing a little bit because I'm 56. Well, and they're trying to, like, I guess the word is democratize Botox so that anyone can afford it. How about eating a fucking decent diet? Because this, considering all the trauma and shit I've been through in my life, my face looks pretty damn good, and it's because of the food. Eat your Botox. Don't put fucking botulism in your face. What the fuck how the fuck did we make that normalized? You know? Exercise, drink, stay hydrated, eat lots of fruit, eat a predominantly, if not totally, plant-based, whole food plant-based diet with maybe a little oil here or there. I've never had a facial in my life. I've never done anything except finally eat well. My oxygen capacity is at 100%. I was a smoker for 25 years, and they just checked it again yesterday, and it's at 100%. And that was after lung surgery, and that's after with a chest cold. So food saves lives. The right food saves lives. And and I will end it there. I'll end my tantrum there. But I feel very passionate about this. It could say heart disease is preventable, strokes are preventable, highly preventable, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, preventable and reversible. The first person I met when I became vegan, one of the first people I met when I became vegan and I moved to DC, reversed her type 2 diabetes with a healthy vegan diet. Reversed it. Reversed it. So these doctors that don't know shit about nutrition, they're lying to you. Plus, they're getting money from pharmaceutical companies to push all these drugs on you. When all you need to do is eat healthy foods. I had another shirt. Well, I had it right here. I was going to wear it, but I thought I've been wearing it as like a night shirt for a few days, so I wanted to look somewhat cleaned up. But I love this shirt. It's called Eat Like You, it's called, and it says, Eat Like You Give a Damn. And seriously, if for no one else, then for your kids, yourself, the planet, the animals, the environment, the water you drink. And this was made, Herbivore is a wonderful company, and that's where I got this shirt. And I worn it around, not to work, but I had worn it around. Eat like you give a damn. People will put Botox in to try to look younger. They will put fillers in. They will do all these crazy diets. Eating whole food, plant-based foods, whole foods and plant-based whole foods is not a crazy diet. It's what what ancient cultures did until Western colonization started. Anyway, I'm getting off of the subject. I'll talk about Botox again later. Hey, under an hour. I just have a lot to say, and I've been staying home because I've been sick, and so I don't have anyone to say this to. And so and insurance is cutting your time with your doctors, specifically psychiatrists and therapists. Used to be an hour. Now it's now psychiatrists I can understand being a half hour because they're medication management. So you shouldn't. They're not a therapist, but therapists used to be an hour, and now they're cutting it from 35 to 45 minutes, which is vote, people, vote, call, write your legislators. I do, even though I have terrible anxiety about doing stuff like that. I just wrote Mondami again, and I wrote the New York City Council again, and I call, even though that's hard for me to do. You got to do it. You got to do it if you want a better world. And I'll put Rutger Bregman's link below because he has a very good. He's an historian and he knows what he's talking about, and he pisses off billionaires, and rightly so. Oh, and like I said, Bono, who they trot out all these humanitarian galas, he quietly moved his U2 fortune from Ireland to a tax haven island or country. It could be island and or country. This is a guy who comes out for all these galas. He's this humanitarian. It's like this Rutger Bregman says, it's bullshit. It's shallow. There's no depth to it. And Bono fucking moved his money to a tax haven. See, there's no good billionaires or multimillionaires, whatever he is. We need distribution of wealth. That's why we're in the pickle that we're in, and that goes out to my family who loves pickles. Is because like 5 people own this world, And anyway, um, just think about it. That's all I'm saying. And stay well, stay informed, but also listen to a lot of music or whatever makes you happy. Um, in between trying to make this world a better place for all of us. And I mean all of us, including Lily Well, my CEO, and all living beings, all sentient beings on this planet. Okay? Peace out.